Okay, so today we're going to talk about the circulatory system or cardiovascular system, specifically the heart and blood vessels. So the circulatory system has four basic functions, and the first is to deliver materials. So it delivers oxygen from your lungs to the rest of your body. It also can deliver other things such as, chemical markers or messenger chemicals, things like that. It also removes waste. So as it delivers these things to the rest of your body, it takes away all the cells, things they don't need. Third function is it regulates body temperature. So it carries away heat from skin, or it can carry heat to the skin to either prevent heat loss or warm you up. And then the last function is it fights disease. So it attacks disease causing microorganisms, which later I'm going to call pathogens. And we'll talk about those more when we talk about the components of blood, either at the end of this week or the beginning of next week, and as we talk about the immune system. So how it works is you have a heart, obviously. And your heart is a hollow muscular organ that pumps blood through your blood vessels, and it's made up of two sides, a right side and a left side, and two parts, which are called ventricles and atria. So ventricles pump blood out of the heart. They're very thick and muscular, and they're kind of a V shape. That's how you can remember it. And then atria are basically storage containers where they receive the blood into the heart, hold it until the valve can open and pump it into the ventricle to be sent away. So valves are flaps of tissue that prevent blood from flowing backwards. So if you didn't have a valve, you'd have a whole lot of problems. The second part of the circulatory or cardiovascular system are blood vessels. So you have veins, which carry blood toward the heart, arteries, which carry blood away from the heart, and capillaries, which are one-cell thick blood vessels that exchange materials with cells, and they also take away the waste products as they exchange those materials. And it happens in two loops, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, I want to make you aware of the parts of the heart that you need to know. So, like I said earlier, your heart has a right and a left side, and as we're looking at this diagram, it's as if it's facing outward. So, your left side that's actually your left and your right. So you have this aorta. The aorta is the major artery in your body. It carries blood away from your heart. This is the one that goes to your lungs. And then on the right side here, remember, the way you're facing. So you have your right atrium, your right ventricle, you have your left atrium, and your left ventricle, and then the valves are in the middle. So these little areas here are valves, and they prevent blood from going backwards. So here are those two loops that I was talking about. So in the first loop, your heart's going to pump blood to the lungs. The lungs are going to give oxygen to the blood, and then oxygenated blood now is going to travel back to the heart, where it's going to hit the second loop. So the heart, now that the oxygenated blood is back, pumps the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. It's delivered by the red blood cells, and then it travels back to the heart, and we start over again. So the last thing I want to mention is blood pressure. And blood pressure is the force of blood against the walls of blood vessels. And it's caused by the force at which the ventricles contract and relax. So your first number is always, or called systolic, is the force on the blood vessels. It's the force on your arteries. And the second number is called diastolic, and that's the force on your veins. And it's always lower because when the blood's going through the veins, your ventricles are relaxing. And it's measured using a sphygmomanometer. And that's all I have for right now.